Welcome to the Executive Protection and Secure Transportation Podcast. The podcast is provided by the International Security Driver Association, and every week we share secure transportation and executive protection headlines, trends, and educational content for today's practitioners. Hello, and welcome to our 200th episode of the EPST podcast. I'm your host, Larry Snow, President of the International Security Driver Association. There are two topics for discussion in today's episode. They are the future of secure transportation and marketing the service of secure transportation and determining your value. So let's dive in, starting with marketing secure transportation and determining your value. Most practitioners market safety and security while traveling in a vehicle, often emphasizing security. But there's a commodity that is important to the executive and should be addressed in a secure transportation marketing plan. The commodity that can be offered is time and productivity. Billionaire investor Warren Buffett once said about time, quote, "It's the only thing you can't buy. I mean, I can buy anything I want basically, but I can't buy time," end quote. How could you turn Warren Buffett's comments into a marketing strategy? We suggest you use the same marketing and business model used by private aviation. The foundation of companies that supply private jet services is saving executive time. They are not marketing or selling airplanes, they are selling time. As a secure transportation service, you're not saving time like a jet service would, as much as you are changing non-productive time into productive time. The private jet industry goes to great lengths to translate time saved into dollars. They can tell the executive what the return on investment will be for every flight they take. They create a document verifying and explaining the numbers. In essence, they create a return on investment document. As a secure transportation provider, you need to do the same. What is their return on investment or ROI for using your service? The foundation of a secure transportation ROI plan is changing the loss of productivity that an executive suffers, driving themselves, into efficient and productive time. Secure transportation can turn CEO non-productive time into the one commodity that CEOs treasure the most, productive time, and you are the vehicle that creates productive time. Pun intended there, with the value-added benefits that other driving services cannot offer. Corporate security people understand the need for safety and security while in a vehicle, but the executive understands the need for productivity. If you can supply the client with a financial breakdown of how much your services translate into money you are saving them, you are speaking the CEO's language. The question becomes, how do you accomplish that? Two metrics are needed to develop the secure transportation ROI: how much time the executive is in the vehicle and the executive's salary. There are two documents that you can get those numbers and help you develop your return on investment, and do so in a manner that the principal can relate. You will need the 2021 INRIX Global Traffic Scorecard and the International Security Driver Association's ROI for Secure Transportation document to put together your ROI plan. We have links to both documents in the show notes along with a YouTube tutorial. The 2021 INRIX Global Traffic Scorecard provides 3 years of mobility data within the world's most congested cities. The data of interest to security drivers and secure transportation providers is the travel delay comparisons. From INRIX, you will find the time. For example, if an executive drives themselves in London, they will lose 148 hours a year of productive time sitting in traffic. If the executive is in New York and drives themselves to work, they will lose 108 hours a year of productive time sitting in traffic. INRIX can supply the amount of time lost due to traffic congestion in cities worldwide. In both scenarios, if the executive had a driver, the 140 and the 108 hours would turn that unproductive time into productive time. When time is translated into dollars, the ROI is impressive. For example, If the principal is a Fortune 100 executive, for every hour a security driver or secure transportation provider supplies the driving versus driving themselves produces over $3,000 ROI for the company. Producing these numbers will require research, but it supplies invaluable data. In 2022, we will produce a secure transportation marketing paper to assist our members with their marketing efforts. The paper will provide information sources and marketing strategies, metrics, and data that can help create a secure transportation marketing plan. So stay tuned for more details on that. Now let's switch gears here and talk about the future of secure transportation. We'll look into a crystal ball of sorts. For those responsible for their principal's safe and secure transportation, 2022 will create unprecedented challenges brought on by the computer chip shortage, the increased use of connected vehicles, and the changing landscape of the automotive industry in the executive protection and secure transportation profession. For those that provide executive protection and secure transportation, understanding what the future will bring is expected by the market they serve. That is true in any profession. The following are 11 predictions that will impact secure transportation services. Electric vehicles. There's no question that electric vehicles, or EVs, are coming to the executive protection and secure transportation profession. It is not if, it is when executive transportation will be done in electric vehicles. It may not be 2022, but it is coming. We suggest security drivers and secure transportation providers understand the effects of electric vehicles on secure transportation. Cybersecurity. If you are a supplier of secure transportation services, we suggest you address the issue of vehicle connectivity and educate yourself on the risk it presents to your principal or client. Predictions are that in 2022, vehicle cybersecurity incidents will increase at an alarming rate. Autonomous vehicles. As a security driver or provider of secure transportation, your client or principal expects you to stay current and know the ever-increasing technologies available in executive vehicles. Level 3 vehicles are being introduced into some parts of the world, the latest of which is Mercedes. The various levels of autonomous vehicles and their effect on the driving task are some of those pieces of knowledge you need to have. Cost and availability of executive vehicles. In 2021, the computer chip shortage had severely affected the availability and the cost of the types of vehicles used for secure transportation. That will continue in 2022 and maybe even into 2023. With very few vehicles available, the cost of new vehicles is now 10 to 15% over the sticker price. And speaking of availability, the rental vehicle shortage. There is currently a shortage of the secure transportation types of rental vehicles. Predictions are that these shortages will also go into 2023. COVID-19 and its variations. The problem created by the pandemic will be with the secure transportation community as we move into 2022. If you plan on supplying secure transportation, you need to get a handle on what it takes to meet the market's needs. We suggest all those involved in secure transportation take a look at the COVID-19 page or center that we created many months ago, and it's located on our website, isdacenter.org. Carjackings. In late 2021, the number of carjacking incidents reported by the Department of Justice is about 49,000 per year. Law enforcement data predicts that these numbers will increase in 2022. In some locations in the United States, the number of carjackings is becoming an epidemic. It can happen to anyone, anywhere, and at any time. Telematics. The new infrastructure bill will require all vehicles equipped with telematic devices. From a security standpoint, we don't see it being a good idea. Training standards and a move to certification. There is a need for standardization in the executive protection profession. There are two organizations moving forward to develop ANSI or ANSI certifications. The change in protective driver training. Some of the basic escape maneuvers are affected by the use of ADAS systems. Trainers will have to address these issues. And lastly, increase in the need for qualified security drivers and executive protection practitioners. Going into 2022, the job data that we have collected has indicated a substantial increase in the demand for qualified practitioners. Alas, we have come to the end of another episode and it will be our last in 2021. Don't worry, we'll be back again next year with another episode of the Executive Protection and Secure Transportation Podcast. Show notes for this episode are available at securitydriver.com/podcast, and scroll down a little bit and click on episode 200. We welcome any comments or feedback on the podcast or even topics that were discussed. On behalf of the International Security Driver Association, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a very Happy New Year.